Okay, Joy, let's take a look at these essays, shall we? This is the one about spending money on essays. Here's what you said. In the 21st century. It's not this 21st century because that implies that there's another 21st century. So no. In the 21st century, some of us prefer to pour a large amount of money into weddings, not their weddings, because it's us. So weddings in general. This essay is about to examine why the advantages outweigh the drawbacks. Yes, but not really, because you really needed to have some sort of a lead-in statement here. Let's try it again. In the 21st century, some people prefer to pour a large amount of money into their weddings. While some people think that this is a negative development, others state that it has advantages. This essay will examine why the advantages outweigh the drawbacks. Okay, so you were missing that kind of connector sentence here. All right, and that would make it a more fully developed introduction. Certainly, there are numerous advantages of organizing an expensive wedding for newly married couples. The central reason behind this is twofold. Firstly, the bride and bridegroom are supposed to experience a special and memorable party on their wedding day, which is considered as one of the most important days in their lives. An unforgettable wedding ceremony is expensive, including the venue fee of a 5-star luxurious hotel, the service fee to the wedding company, and the food expenses. Secondly, an additional benefit is, not if, that couples who have a high-end wedding party are happier than those who do not have one. Recent research, because research is uncountable. It's not a research. So, recent research by Harvard University, careful with the name, demonstrated that those newlyweds with expensive weddings have a lower possibility of divorcing than those who have cheap weddings. Therefore, it is significant to you don't own a wedding, to have a costly and unforgettable wedding due to the creation of valuable memories and future happiness. Okay, I liked the second part of your essay. You absolutely did focus on the benefits of this, so that was good. There was a problem with some of the grammar, which you saw I had to correct. What I didn't really care for was the first half of your essay, first half of your paragraph, which essentially talked to me about the reasons why people do this, that they were supposed to experience a special and memorable party. It looks to me more like a reason to have an expensive wedding and not a benefit. Meanwhile, here, I felt like this was the same thing, but just spoken about in the right light. So here I felt you were talking about the reason, and then here I felt like you were talking about the result of actually satisfying this. So half of the paragraph was well developed, but this first half was really did not have the right focus. The whole paragraph, however, had some errors grammatically, so I want you to look into those and correct them. Now, another problem that I can see here is, look at this. You've got this enormous paragraph here, and then you've got this other paragraph which is half of the length. That's not going to do you any favors. If you look at the band descriptors, you'll see that under band 6 it says something about some arguments being more fully developed than others, and that's clearly what has happened here. You spent a lot of time on the positives and half of that time on the disadvantages. Now, don't take that to mean, please, that you have to count your words or you have to count your lines. But, I mean, just visually, you could see that you really dedicated far more time to this part of the argument than you did this, okay? Let's look at what you said here, though. However, a barely affordable wedding is blamed. Some people believe that this could cause a waste of money, which should be saved for household expenditures as after marriage. This is largely because most couples have already spent their money on the honeymoon, so that a hardly affordable wedding party is unnecessary. I don't like this expression, barely affordable, hardly affordable. I don't know what that means. Thus, it's possible to state that a lavish wedding could lead to a waste of money. All right, you definitely should have extended this argument here. Let's try it again. Okay. All right, from the beginning. However, a costly wedding is maligned. Some people believe that this could cause a waste of money, which should be saved for household expenditures after marriage. For example, if a couple spends $20,000 to $30,000 on a wedding, then they may have difficulty in furnishing their home, or perhaps in putting a down payment for a home in the future. Okay, so give me some evidence. This doesn't make sense to me. They've already spent their money on the honeymoon, so a hardly affordable wedding party is unnecessary. I didn't understand that. It's unnecessary because they spent money on the honeymoon? What does that mean? How are they related? So I think there's some word choice problems. There's some sort of disconnect here happening. Okay? And then you could have said more, because remember it says disadvantages. What's another disadvantage of an expensive wedding? How about that a lot of people actually take out loans to have these expensive weddings, okay? There's this attitude where we have to keep up with the Joneses and do what everyone else is doing, whether we can afford it or not. So some people take out loans, and then not only do they not have money to start their life with their partner, but they actually start off their married life in debt. And that's a huge problem for a lot of couples, and it really puts a lot of their life goals on hold and delays some of their life goals until much later, which they could have avoided if they just had a more economical wedding. Okay, so these are some of the things I would have changed here. In conclusion, my view is that the benefits of spending a huge amount of money on weddings outweighs as the possible disadvantages. Newlyweds deserve a costly wedding due to its significance on memory and potential family happiness. Okay, well, now we come to another issue. Your paragraphs are in the wrong order, and that's going to affect your coherence and cohesion score because there is not a logical progression of ideas. What happens in IELTS, but not just IELTS, but in all English essays, is that first we talk about the side that we don't support, and then we talk about the side that we do support. So the order here is reversed. You have to put the side, this one here, first, and then you have to discuss the side that you actually do support and that you are more in favor of, okay? So you have to make those changes here. All right, so let's move on. Let's take a look at what you did in your task 1. Okay, there's just 2 paragraphs here. I don't know why. I would have liked your introduction to be separate, okay? Now, paragraphing is not extremely important in task 1, but I still want to see it to some degree. Your introduction should come in its own paragraph. Now, it can be followed in the same paragraph by your overview, or you could have your overview directly after it in a separate paragraph and then go into 1 or 2 paragraphs with your details so that you have a total of 4 paragraphs. Or you could have, like you have here, okay, but 1 paragraph here, 2 paragraphs again for your details, and then you have your overview at the end. That's also okay. The order of that is okay, but still, I definitely don't favor 2 paragraphs here. All right? All right, let's see what you said. The pie charts illustrate changes to subject preferences in New South Wales from 2014 to 2017. Geography accounted for the largest part in 2014. Largest portion, please. Reaching almost 1/3 before dropping to less than 20% in 2017. There were about 27% of students preferring math in 2014. However, merely approximately 12% left after 3 years. Not the most accurate expression here. Additionally, the percentage of physics remained at around 20% for both years. Additionally, compared with the 1% for chemistry preference in 2000, but nobody's talking about 2013, we're only talking about 2014. The figure turned to 0 in 2017. The most significant change occurred with history. There was about 1% of students who preferred history, whereas the number jumped to almost 20% in a 3-year time. To sum up, the number of students, not number, we're not talking about numbers, we're only talking about percentages. So you could have said the percentage, or you could have said the figure of students who were in favor of geography and math decreased. However, more people were attracted by history. Okay, what's happening here is that what you did was okay on the whole. However, you missed a couple of subjects, and that's going to seriously cost you in terms of your task achievement. I didn't see anything about IT. I didn't see anything about PE, and I thought there was one other subject that you didn't talk about at all. Okay, yeah, so you definitely didn't talk about IT. You didn't talk about biology at all. Let me think. Was there another subject that you left out? I felt like there was. Well, if there was, I can't find it. Anyway, the point is that all of this external information is considered your key information. You have to absolutely include them, even if it's just by name. You don't have to give data for every single thing, but you do need to at least mention them and say that they exist, okay? Because if I were going to try to draw these pie charts based on what you told me, I would have an inaccurate pie chart. All right, because I'm missing some really important information. I'm missing what those other subjects were. So keep that in mind. All this stuff on the outside of your graph, of your line graph, of your bar chart, all of it, that's the important information. I need to know what the categories are. All right? So that's the feedback here. I hope it's helpful. We really focus a lot on coherence and cohesion, as well as task achievement. Coherence and cohesion is it's basically where paragraphing falls, so that I hope will help you in order to do better in your next set of essays. If you have any questions, please let us know in your email, and I wish you luck with your next set of essays. Good luck.